Welcome to the Phlarp Podcast. Phlarp stands for Park Hills Live Action Role Players. We are a medieval fantasy-themed LARP group. We engage in unscripted combat against each other using padded LARP weapons and a shared combat system. We also participate in ad-lib dialogue with each other in an attempt to portray a character, and many of us also wear costumes. We operate out of Park Hills, Missouri, every Sunday from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. We strive to create an environment that facilitates our players' immersion as much as possible so that regardless of their previous experience with LARP, they could participate and have a fun and memorable LARP experience. We want to help people create friendships, relationships, and memories that will last a lifetime. It is our hope here at the Phlarp Podcast that through the utilization of this platform, we can expand on the ideas and suggestions taken from our players so that we can maximize player retention and expand our player base. The Phlarp Podcast is made possible by support from our players and listeners like you. If you would like to support us, please visit our Patreon, where you can do so for as little as $3 a month. Also, any engagement on our YouTube or Facebook pages is much appreciated, and thank you for listening. Welcome, everybody, to the Phlarp Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, North, or Jason Smith.
And I'm Brandon Fraser, or Davy Nolan.
And I'm Chris, but I'm Eric the Red, the guy.
And I'm Rose.
And your first name? Your real first name?
Kira Moore.
Okay.
That's our co-host today, our special co-host. We have a couple of questions that we generally ask the co-host, so I guess we'll go ahead and get those out of the way. How long have you LARPed, and why do you LARP?
Okay, I have LARPed for about a month, and I started LARPing because I was hearing about it, and I was like, oh, this would be a good thing for me to do, and I was like, I'll think about it. And then I started watching videos of how people are doing it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then I heard about Eriks the Red, and I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, okay. And then I started watching the YouTube videos, and I was like, I'm gonna try this out. And I came out one week and watched you guys, and I was like, I'm gonna join the next week.
Cool. What do you think so far?
I actually love it.
Nice.
Awesome. Good job.
Me too.
Yes, I love it too, and I love the fact that I'm an inspiration to our younger generation.
Mm-hmm. Did you get that referral XP?
No.
Who did? Is it Argus?
Yes, Argus got XP for it because he was talking about it in our club.
Cool.
That Argus is going down.
Uh-oh.
He didn't even show up today.
I know. What's up with that?
He hurt his ankle last week.
Doing what?
He got stepped on.
Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. I got a concussion. I was still out this week. What?
That he stayed at night at a friend's house and stayed up till 4 a.m. or something.
Still, not a good enough excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Argus, I know you're not listening to this podcast.
Right. He doesn't listen.
You little turd.
Fair enough.
All right, Argus, if you're listening, I'll give you just bonus XP. For even listening, I'll give you one shot of bonus XP. So let me know if you heard these complaints, okay? Now we'll find out. That'll be like a time bomb. He'll come in and be like, hey, I want my XP!
Yeah.
And,
you guys were talking about me?
And he has to comment. He has to comment,
okay.
So there's proof that he at least attempted to listen to it.
Not that he needs incentive, but if he did, he'd probably get enough XP to level. He's right on the verge of 3rd level. He's 20 XP from 3rd level.
I can't even get level 2 Marshall.
How close are you?
I don't know.
Oh, let's talk about that for a minute.
Level 2 Marshall.
So, I was asked a couple weeks ago, what do you get as a level 2 Marshal? And as a joke, I told Chris that you can banish people. And he thought it was real. And so today he's like, I got to finish my thing so I can get my level 2 Marshal ability. And I was like, what level 2 level Marshal? I was very confused. And he's like, you told me about it last week. And I did not realize he didn't realize I was joking. I thought he understood that was a joke. It's you have that power now. You don't get anything for leveling as a Marshal.
Yeah. Can I still banish anybody?
No.
Well, within reason.
Yeah. Can I banish other Marshals?
That seems like a really bad idea.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Do we mean banish as in out
I don't know.
From the town?
You gotta ask the one that gave it up.
Define banish.
I mean, again, this was a joke.
It's not a damn joke.
There is actually...
There is banishment. It's happened before.
Well, and there's also a
level tier for marshals, but it's not really like abilities more so. It allows you to run games eventually by yourself or call games yourself and like different things like that.
Which we do anyway.
So
Yeah,
that,
so
so that if we
again-
got a brand new marshal in, well, the idea is if you get a brand new marshal in, you put them with a marshal that's already high enough level to be able to be a marshal that trains other marshals, and then they have to like. It would make sense for them to not immediately be able to do all the things a marshal can do and slowly learn it over time, so eventually they can do certain things like. And then I think there was other abilities too, but I can't remember what they all are. But you're not totally off on the fact that marshals do level and get. That's why they're in it as a class in the book. It's just that their abilities aren't like. They're more. What's the word? They're not like other abilities, basically. So, you don't want those? Are you not
You know
interested
what?
in
Now
those?
I'm just.
Now you don't want to level?
I'm disappointed in you, sir.
Well, wait till because I'm not saying it very well. So wait till I show them to you, and then you can.
Oh, there's visual aids.
Yeah. They're in the.
That's how I put my desk together last night. Was using visual aids. I was trying to read the directions. I was like, this makes absolutely no sense. It's in English, but it looks Japanese. You know what? There's pictures.
Doesn't like every man just do that anyway? Anytime I've ever constructed something, I just completely ignore the directions and use the photos.
Well, I'm not sure why you specified man there, but I don't do that. I specifically read the instructions.
Well, you're
Okay, more
a
than
literal
enough
vampire.
men do it. A lot of men.
And
do
it's
it.
because other men in my life, maybe this is why you said man, would not read the instructions, and then I'd watch them sit there struggle or end up at the end of it with like 4 extra screws or something. And then I'm like, why did they do that? Why didn't they just read the instructions? So that's what I do.
And 8 extra screws.
Okay, well, there you go.
Wasn't a symbol.
It was assembled exactly the right way.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
still had 8 extra. I'm like, well, good, in case one falls out.
You got 8 other to replace it.
See, you just proved me
back
right.
up.
See, you sort of were right in the way that it is together, though, I guess. But who knows where those screws were supposed to go? So
Saying from like a non-guy's perspective and whatnot, like I go for pictures too.
See? Look at that.
That's a normal thing people do.
I'm too lazy to read.
they
the
don't read the instructions
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yeah.
I totally do.
But I did read
I'm
the
not normal
instructions.
though. So.
But I'm like, this is so confusing. You know what? Doing this myself. There are visual aids for a reason.
Did you keep them extra screws?
I kept
Just in case.
everything. I even kept the instructions.
The instructions you did not read.
Right.
Yes. Because
Like,
they
in
have the
case you
visual
need to
aids.
get
In
warm
case I had to
shit. Oh,
disassemble it, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, see, the disassembling's always easier than the assembling.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It just might not be able to be reassembled.
But that's what the 8 extra screws are for.
Right.
We got this, bro.
This is method for disassembling and reassembling things and assembling things is quite different than
Yeah.
mine. I would say.
I've always been a demolition kind of guy, you know?
Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Works every time.
Well, yeah.
Most of the time.
Or a wrench.
If the sledgehammer didn't work, the wrench will. Is that what you're saying?
Either for demo or trying to get something fixed. BFH, BFW. Big freaking hammer and big freaking wrench.
Nice.
Interesting.
Or a foot. You just kick the shit out of it. So anyway.
So we're going to do a recap.
Yep. Guess so. We did.
Started off with Last Man Standing today.
We did. And the winner was?
Lord Rand Rainwalker.
And I have a picture for our video editor.
And he has already airdropped them all to my phone. So.
I have. So video editor, they're there for
that
you.
Should be in there. So cool.
We did.
I'm glad you guys did it because I don't even know who won. So.
We played 2 games of Minion.
Yep.
One was won by Arno. Solvia is his
Oh, yeah, I
last
do
name.
remember
I don't
that.
know if he wants me to reveal that, but that is his last name. Arno
You
Solvia.
just did.
And the other one was Aridin Empora.
It was. And then we had some 1v1s going on. So all three of, well, North and I have some footage, and also our video editor, Trinity, got some.
Mm-hmm.
So that
So-
is good.
Yeah, if anybody listening has been engaging with our shorter content, we really appreciate it. That stuff seems to be blowing up a lot more than our long form content, but that'll get views to this as well. So, did you see any of them? That shorter stuff.
I like rewatched them like 30,000 times.
Which one was your favorite one?
Oh, I don't know. I liked them all. They were all really good.
I think my favorite one was
That's such a cop-out answer.
It is.
I'm
Come
just
on,
saying,
give us an answer.
I'm just stating facts.
Okay, facts. Give us your top one.
One of them.
If
were
we
better than the
all,
others.
yeah, I bet we all have the same one as our favorite one.
Okay.
Like I could almost write it down if
I don't think so. I actually think mine's different than yours.
Oh,
Rock,
really?
paper,
You
scissors.
probably heard
Ready?
me say which one I thought.
Yeah, I think so too.
So that's probably why.
Rock, paper,
What are we doing
scissors
this
for which one is the best? Ready?
Okay. Wait, we all going?
Yeah. Is it on
Wait, I gotta
three and then go or what?
Instead of rock, paper, scissors, we have
Why
to
are we-
name
What's the?
the one
Oh,
that we
just yell
Just
out
out loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta think of who it was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
Okay, yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Cyrenaic and
Gregor
Pius.
and Argus.
I went north. Sorry, Ro, you were out.
Well,
What was yours?
for me, that's what it was. But
There's all of them are favorite.
that's a cop-out. You can't accept that answer.
Okay, non-living entity. There's a non-living entity
In the room.
in the dungeon with us. Non-living entity. Can you give us your favorite?
It would have to be Gregor and Argus.
Ah.
That's 2 votes.
All right.
Tied up.
Tied up. What is it? What's yours, Rose?
The other fight. Okay. No, I'll get
I
it.
gotta
We
agree
gotta
with
wait
the
for us.
non-living entity.
There we go.
Like, we probably bench watched the same one like 30,000
Okay, well, you guys suck, so.
I
You're
like
right.
the other
I
fight.
feel
Hold
half
on.
offended.
Was ours are now the Cyrenaic and Pius
The dagger one?
so
Yeah, it was like
Yes.
their second fight.
Yes.
He hit him in the face with a dagger, and he took it. Cyrenaic just took it. He was just like, "Ugh," and he just fell over dead. And then Pius ran over there and like gutted him and like filleted him or something. Who was that?
I don't know.
Who was that? Oh, was it the guy who said I don't know? Oh no, was it mine? No.
I don't know. It
Wasn't
may
mine.
have been like
Anyway.
some non-living entity.
Um,
Wait, was it the gremlin in the vent?
No, the
Well, first it was a monster in the
vent.
bit, and that was Isaac.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
Yeah, he left his
probably.
phone.
And then what else did we do?
See, the only reason that I think the Gregor versus Argus fight was better was because technically that throwy fight was an illegal fight. You cannot
Kinda
stab
goofy.
people with a thrown weapon. It's just we don't want people that close. So technically that fight wouldn't have counted in the real game. Like when they were throwing it at each other, absolutely. But actually stabbing with those thrown weapons doesn't
Is
work.
discouraged, yeah.
It's discouraged, but I still think it was one of the better fights.
Yeah, it was.
It was
definitely
entertaining.
a fight.
It was
My
entertaining.
favorite part about it was the fact that when he was filleting him like that, if you look up at Cyrenaic's face, he's got like a huge smile on his face. And he just lost and is
That's
like
fantastic.
dying, but his face is
Like
like
he was trying to RP, but he was like, I can't.
he's
bro.
like
This is-
laughing really hard. Yeah, that was my favorite part about
I
it.
will say he has been role playing a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Sure, that counts.
That's true.
yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, he's actually been a co-host once before, so
Yeah.
people should know who he is a little bit.
And if you don't, re-watch our podcast.
Yeah.
And then you can hear his awful take on skins and mashed potatoes.
Okay.
We're still going on about that. Though?
Yeah, apparently
It upsets me a lot.
Okay, so
it's just
They're-
terminology.
they're like skins and mashed potatoes is the same as some weird. I'm just gonna put it out there. Moron that likes to cook up sausage and put it in with Zatarain's and calls it.
Can I tell you a story? I got a
Yeah.
story. Hang on, I got a story. I told my girlfriend about this. Okay.
Oh, no.
And the jambalaya originates from her. So the other day she made it and she's like, I did a lot more. She said, I want you to know, I took like sort of offense to that. And I actually did she cut up like she bought like a brand new like a pepper and
Yeah.
like cut it up and was like trying really hard. And she put like a second thing in it instead of just the sausage. There was also like some kind of chicken sausage or
Okay.
something in there.
Yeah.
She said she could have done more, but that was just what she was trying to do as like a response to the fact that we just put the one thing in it.
Just to be clear,
So she put 2 or 3 things in it.
that really was meant as an attack to North, not as an attack to Rachel. So I apologize for that.
Well, when I told her about it, it wasn't because she was listening to the podcast and heard about it. It was because I told her that
Right.
you guys were getting on to me about the jambalaya or whatever, like joking
Now,
about
and
it.
now everyone should know too that behind the scenes, I have been sending North jambalaya recipes that I see via TikTok or any. So I have been doing that so he can really fix his ways, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. I'm
Because
trying.
Zyran's is
I
just
must say,
not
I
it.
kind of
It's
want to
not
try
it.
jambalaya.
No. Yeah, see?
I know that sounds stupid, but I really want to try it.
It's tasty. I mean, you know,
You know what it is?
simple but
Here's
good.
the thing: it's
you know?
edible. I will say this: it's edible.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
just like not jambalaya.
It's the bare.
I don't
It's
even
almost
know
not
if you
even
could
really
call it
jambalaya.
that. No, it's like you literally cooked like instant rice and threw some sausage in it. Like it's not. It's just not.
There's some spices in there.
Here's what I gotta say about North's jambalaya.
Have you even had my jambalaya? Yeah. There you go. I did it. Okay.
Alright, that's
They
enough.
I
actually
tried to
make
refrain.
boxes just for jambalaya. No hard feelings, but I'm just saying.
I even sent him, or I think it might be in the Phlarp chat. I sent the box of Xanax to him. I'm like, not jambalaya
Not jambalaya.
at all. Far from it. Sorry, bro. All right, back. We
I'm
derailed. Back onto it.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if it was mentioned or not, but Phlarp did start a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It's under mophlarp. Is all it is. So
Yeah, if you search mophlarp, you should be able to find it.
And so we all over the place.
And we'll try to put it in the description too. If I can think about it, I'll get it down in the descriptions too. So
we did
Yeah, we've
something
had-
else. So we came back from those individual battles and what we played. Scramble after that was that? Does that sound accurate? We played Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, we played that a second time, right? Which is like the second time we've ever played it, I think.
And I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, and the non-living entity actually, I don't know, it was just you or Rose both, but she created some cards to help us use for the people who don't have badges already. So that worked out well, I thought.
She's trying to poison me.
What was that?
Oh, it was water. It was the flavored water, but it's black cherry and it tastes like medication. It's nasty.
Just like cough syrup.
Yes, it's nasty.
And Navi's over there drinking his body armor.
You drink your body armor.
He's like, this is so good.
It really does taste like medicine because there's no sugar in it.
Like usually I can drink them, but that one I can't do that. That is nasty. I drank it earlier and I like rinsed out my mouth and like spit it out because I was like, "Ooh, no, I can't do it.
All right. So we had who? Lord Rainwalker won Assassin's Creed. He almost lost.
I did have a player ask me about this, and I told him I would bring it up, which I've asked you about it once before. But he was basically saying that he had killed, or actually completed contracts on quite a few people, and then he ended up dying and not even placing. And I explained to him that there was another version of the Assassin's Creed game that I was kind of like as a proposition, to try to maybe play, is one where it only matters how many people you actually completed contracts on. My only issue with it was keeping track of the difference between the badges that you had completed and the current badge. Like, I didn't want to complicate players by saying you have to have one badge is someplace and then your current contract is someplace else. It's because it would be a little confusing. But if we could figure that out, I think it's kind of like a good idea, because but then he kind of went astray with it and was saying that when you kill somebody and loot them, you get all their contracts they've completed too. And I said, well, wouldn't that just end up being the same type of game? Because you're going to end up...
Then the last person ends up with all the contracts.
No matter how it works out. Right, yeah, they're basically going to end up with all the contracts, unless they don't get looted and walk off the field, I guess, or something. But I'm not even sure how you'd handle that. But my version of it was just basically saying, play it the same way you do now. It doesn't matter who ends it at the, the last three people don't really matter. What you do is at the end of it, add up the amount of contracts they actually completed, and then whoever had the most there wins. But, I mean, I don't know. What does anybody think about that? Is that still too, what are your thoughts on
I think
that?
right now we need to stick with what we have
Sure.
until that can be more refined and polished up, so that, because that can be too confusing.
Is the issue the completed contracts versus the current, the the one you would trade if somebody
Yeah.
killed you.
I think so. I
Makes
think
sense.
that would get a lot of people confused,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll be like, which one am I on?
And actually, it was when I said that he was saying, well, then you could just have them give all their contracts, completed contracts, to whoever leads them. But like I said, that ends up kind of breaking it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my thought process was, what if I complete 3 contracts, 3 or 4, and it's more than anybody else has completed, and then I die, and I haven't finished the game, but I've done more than most other people as far as like the objective of the game. But I guess the objective is also to live. So
Yeah, I mean that's basically my thought process on it. Is like, congratulations, you may have killed 10 people,
mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, the objective of this particular game is to be the last one alive with the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it makes more sense to say the person that survives is the best assassin because they're alive. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
Because they did survive their assassin the whole
Right.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we could make a different variation of the game where it's like a kill count game. But I think that variation of the game probably comes down the road a little ways.
And it's because it's harder to.
And also,
keep track of.
we just created this game. It works really well, and I think we should probably play it, 15 times or so before we go
start trying
messing
to
with
add.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like we did with Pandemic Panic, or Brains, as most people know it. Like, that game used to be like. There was no first blood. There was no special zombies. There were no abilities used. Like, now we have different rules for Brains that we're gonna utilize whenever we have more players.
Mm-hmm.
But like at one time or another, it was just the basic game, and I think that's what we should do with Assassin's Creed for now.
Okay. Just as a side note, one way we could kind of keep track of that is we'd have to have somebody at the res point. If we had somebody at the res point and they just said who killed them, basically, like whenever and then take their contract with them, their contract gets completed. They take it over to the res point where there's somebody standing and they say, so-and-so killed me. Would be a way we could do it, just for future notation of that.
Sure.
It was just a thought, I guess. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Well, if we ever make that game, this is really what I really just want to call that game Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you literally came up with this whole thing just so you could say Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah, I have another one too.
Yeah, what's the other one?
But I'm not going to explain it right now. I'm going to explain the game later, and then at the end of it, I'm going to see if you can figure out what name I'm going to give it.
Okay.
See if you, but it won't be in this podcast. I have another game that I want to explain.
Isn't that one you were talking about where you got to guess the movie? What was that one you were telling me about?
I don't know that we were all talking about that, but I don't remember the name of that game. It was like you just basically explain a movie like terribly, but like technically accurate, and you have to guess the movie. So like, if you were talking about Finding Nemo, you'd be like, oh yeah, at the beginning of the movie, their whole family's murdered, and then it's like this movie about this boy, basically, who gets kidnapped, and his dad and his friend have to go find and save the boy, and like no one's gonna know that's Finding Nemo.
Sure
like based on
a boy, like I'm pretty sure he's a fish.
Well,
I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure he's a fish.
Well, whatever it is. But the point is that you just badly explain a plot of a movie, and then you have to, like, the person has to guess whatever movie that is. That was the whole point of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, I think I know that movie.
There's kind of a...
Isn't that,
I don't understand what's happening.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Is that correct?
You're way
Ninja
off.
Assassin.
You're way off.
I literally said the name of the movie.
You literally said the name of the movie, and literally it's a Disney film.
Yeah, but...
Do you even watch Disney films?
Wasn't Star-Lord kidnapped?
Ninja Assassin.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're right.
Deadpool.
Yeah, you're right.
Deadpool. Volume 3.
What does that have to
Hey, I'm going to make this prediction now. The third Avatar is going to be called The Fire Tribe. Because it's confusing. Because it further conflates. I wanted to say this, like I thought of this a while ago.
Did you watch the
I know this
movie?
is...
Did you watch the
No,
film?
I did not watch The Way of Water.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Was it good?
Yes.
Cool.
Very long, but it was good.
Very long? Wait, estimated.
3 hours.
I am not sitting
And
and watching that.
I watched it in a theater.
Did you watch it in 3D?
Yes.
Did you have to pee?
Yes.
Did you?
No. I mean, after the movie. I just sat there and held it. Was uncomfortable. What do you want me to say?
I would have peed on the floor.
If it wasn't If it wasn't a CGI masterpiece and it was just a normal movie, like filmed and not CGI, would it be as good?
No.
No.
But
okay.
it, like, it
A lot of the
still would be.
sell is-
It was a watchable movie,
Mhm.
even without any of the CGI or anything like that. But it was beautiful.
How do you rate it between a 1 and 10?
Ooh.
What would you rate it?
Just as a movie, like without any of the special effects or anything, or with all the special effects.
Like, completely. In general.
As a whole.
Like a 9.3, 9.4. It's very good.
Wow.
Okay. I've
I will
seen the
say-
first one, but I don't know how I feel about the second one. It looks completely
It's
off.
it's different. It's different. It involves the entire family now, not just the two of them. So they, I mean, I don't know what I'm giving away right now, but they have
Possible spoiler alerts.
Yeah,
for
possible
Really?
spoilers.
It's all in the trailer, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
people know
family, and it basically involves the entirety of the family rather than just the two, the mom and the dad or whatever. So
The only thing I remember about the first one, this is the only thing I remember, is the part where the guy's in like the mech suit and he's like fighting, and then the guy breaks the glass on the mech suit, and the bad guy just goes and holds his breath. That's the only part I really remember out of the first one. Like that part was awesome. I was like, dude just held his breath. I mean, what else was he gonna do? I guess, but I loved that part.
I wonder how long
Guy's
it
savage.
took them to literally sit down and make the movie, because it takes so many effort and so many redos
so
just for the movie.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this story was written in like the 1980s, right?
I think it was
earlier
written
even.
a while ago. I think.
And basically, they didn't have the technology at the
Mhm, I
time
had
for
heard
like
that
the
too.
way that this guy imagined this world. Like they
Mhm.
couldn't create the scene, and so he basically held on to it. So we're not doing anything until basically CGI is where I needed to be in order to make this movie.
And that's something I was going to say, which is a good thing, is that at least they did wait and didn't just rush it through and, like wait till it was, like you said, the technology was where they thought it would be at to be worth it for the movie. Like it took a long time to come out, but at least they didn't just rush it out because they were worried about capitalizing on the success of the first one
Right.
and then made like a shit movie. That does happen. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like Hocus Pocus 2. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've seen
but
enough of it to
literally
know.
The first one
I saw it.
is so good.
Yeah, the
like,
second
I
one was
rewatched
awful.
it, and then I watched the second one, and I'm like, this is... No.
It's not
horrible.
rewatchable.
Mhm.
The second one
I
is
would
not
never
rewatchable.
rewatch it.
It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it. I've seen reviews on it and stuff, though.
Don't watch it. Don't. It's not recommended at
Mm.
all. It is horrible.
Okay.
I will
Well-
I will say that there was one line in that movie that did make me laugh out loud though. At one point they're talking to one of the witches and someone tells her that she has resting witch face.
Oh, I remember
That's the
that.
one. Is it the one that holds her face?
I'm not
Like,
sure.
crooked or
Probably.
whatever.
I'm not sure. But it was very funny. I laughed out loud.
Nice.
But other than that, the movie was kind of
Yeah,
it was a
Winifred.
dud.
Mm-hmm. Which is
The main one.
The main one. Yeah.
No,
The green one.
the
the
green one.
brunette.
Yeah,
'Cause there's
She's
a
the
blonde,
one
a
who
brunette,
always
and a
has
redhead.
her, like, head bob to the side.
Yeah, that's technically.
The main one.
Oh, so it's the main one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The one in green.
Actually, I might have seen it now that I'm thinking about it, because they did like a whole backstory, didn't they? Where they showed.
Yeah.
The one in green.
You're the one in green.
Oh,
Bet.
Nice.
Member.
what?
I don't know. He may be putting a spell on us.
What are you guys saying? I'm
I don't
Bette
know
Midler.
if anyone knows what we're
They're
saying.
putting you on you.
I mean,
My feelings are hurt.
you know what would be great?
Is if they would understand if there was a video so they could see us.
Yeah.
That's
Because
fair.
we kind of
Pointing
just have
arrows
to
straight at you.
explain.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that'll be coming soon then.
Maybe somebody should,
Put
make
it
it
in the
happen, Captain.
comments.
Yeah, maybe somebody should.
Or
Somebody
put
should make it
comments
happen,
on
Captain.
the video and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I have two phones sitting right here.
Here's the
that
question.
We can,
Can we
totally do that.
Can we make this the question then? Would you watch the podcast live if we did it an hour after we get done playing at LARP at 5? So at 6 Central, we would start the podcast live. Would you watch it if we did it live? That's the question.
Yes.
Graduate.
I literally wouldn't be able to
Because you couldn't, yeah.
because I'm in it.
No, because you're here. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking because you're gonna be on your way home. I was thinking that.
That's
I would
nice.
100% watch it.
Okay. Right now.
Yes, that's serious. I would watch it 100%.
And I know that, people in my house, they'd have it on the TV and everything.
Because the thing is, if people will watch us live and actually engage with us, we would answer questions that people had in the comments, and eventually, if we had so many people we couldn't do that, we would answer questions that were super chatted. So,
Yeah.
It could be another way to kind of monetize the situation or whatever, for Phlarp.
Make it awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Godlike.
Well,
Yes,
I
you're
don't know about
welcome. I
that,
just
but-
put that in there.
No.
Bam!
No.
You know what that? I
I
can't.
have a
drop
feeling
my-
you want to edit that out.
I can't drop my mic, but if I go there,
That's your mic drop.
yes. Let's get to the suggestions.
Your mic
Don't
dropped
you
onto a
ever
button.
touch my button again. Don't ever touch my...
I mean, that's basic. So that
Next
basically
week-
was the recap, right?
Next week you're done.
Yes,
I mean, we played
You know
Assassin's
what?
Creed.
I have nothing for you.
I do have one. Go ahead.
I am putting this out there right now, so everybody should watch and listen to this podcast. I am putting a hit out on Rose.
Well, stop spooning people. And I won't have to stab you in the back.
I don't ever take it. You know why? Because I'm freaking God. Okay, so
And you never play.
suggestions. Suggestions. Let's get to the suggestions.
Well, I have one more thing I want to talk about. So we did play a scramble, and I introduced a couple magical items. We had talked about this maybe in the past on some podcasts. I can't remember if we did or not, but if we didn't, I thought it went really well adding magical items to scramble. Like there was another player that was like, "Where's the MacGuffins?" And he was kind of joking around, and he was like, "Actually, this is a good idea because it gives people a thing to strive for during that game." And you could just keep adding as long as you did it not too quickly. You could add more magical items if you did it slow enough that people would understand what they all did. I also like the fact that the magical items are bells. So when you go to swing or run up on somebody to backstab them, if you have a magical item, you're actually less likely to be able to do that because you're making noise. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I agree.
That was it. I just wanted to comment on that magical items in the scramble game. I thought that was cool.
I do have one thing.
Mhm.
Like, can we get more things in LARP that we can loot? Like, when we loot from people, like, everybody have, like, something that can loot off of each other.
I mean, that's a good idea, but it's kind of more up to the players.
Have we addressed
to bring?
on here? Have we addressed what's it called? I don't know why I took this out of there. Specifically, what's it called when you could request loot? That's it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
So you can request loot people and loot anything you want off of them, but they have to agree to it. If you use your loot to request something, they can infinitely deny it. The reason why that is, like if we were basically on property, which it could happen before property, but especially if we were on property, it would be more of a priority for me to get coins out. We have 3D printed coins, Phlarp coins, that are silver, gold, and copper. And if we, basically those would be the loot. If everybody had some of those on them, those would be the loot that you would generally give out to protect the other things that you might have on you.
Yeah.
So whenever we get copper out there, that will increase when people loot and stuff. But it's kind of the problem is that when we do campaign, we have to stop campaign. Like when we do events, we have to stop campaign. At property, campaign and events are separate things in that you can call an event and it doesn't interfere with whatever's going on in campaign. So it makes it a little easier to implement coins and have the loot system going on. And it makes it more like, I don't know, an incentive to get coins, like to buy coins from Phlarp so that you can have them on you to be able to buffer whatever else loot you might have on you or just to have something to loot, I guess, in campaign. So.
No, it makes sense. So, like, as an example,
I don't know if that answered the question.
Like, I had a magical item before at LARP that was basically like a crown that just let me, like, cancel people's abilities. It was really broken, but I didn't ever want that crown to get looted, so I had, like, pocketfuls and pocketfuls of copper on me at all times because I didn't ever want that thing to get looted. So if I were to die, I could potentially hand out 50 copper before I ever had to give up that item. And I made sure that was the case all the time because I never wanted to lose that particular magic item. So.
You just pass those around.
Sure.
If you get one that has someone's name on it, don't read it.
Okay.
Did that answer your question about the loot?
Yeah, it did.
So whenever we get money in the game, that will make it to where more people will loot and have things to loot. And like the Assassin's game, too. Also, I thought it was kind of neat that it implements the looting process a little bit more than any of the other games. Actually, more than any of the other games. This one is something somebody told me about that I will go ahead and quickly clarify, but I think I gave them an answer. This is more of a reminder so that I change in the book. It says Divine Light and Restore Limb. These abilities have the same wording of heal an ally's limb if you shout the verbal. And then it says, can you use this ability on yourself as well? The answer is no. A paladin's heal limb is different than a priest's heal limb. And it's because if I gave the paladin the same level of heal as a priest, it'd be like a warrior with a self-heal. Although later they do get a type of self-heal. Basically, the difference is paladin's supposed to be more of a paladin is specifically meant to be more of a support for other people, like not necessarily themselves, essentially. Because if I made them that powerful, then everybody would just pick paladin. Because why would you want to be a warrior that can heal themselves?
Right.
So the wording is wrong. Although if you look into, and I will change it, but if in the mechanics part, but if you look into the inferred prerequisites for a priest, it says one arm. So a priest can heal even though if they have one arm, even though they only have one arm. That way they can heal themselves. They can heal their own arm. If they don't have any arms, they can't heal themselves. And it also says, I think in the targets, it specifies that you can use it on yourself. But I will make sure that it says that. So that was that one. And I talked to him about it. Like I said, mainly that's just a reminder for me. So, somebody else got one?
Yeah, I got one here that says, do you guys think of yellow, white, and silver? Y'all should be worried if you don't join or obey. Safe travels.
Okay, now I'm kind of scared.
Is that a threat? I'm
I
intrigued.
believe so.
I kind of feel
So you
threatened.
just have to think about
Scared?
who wears yellow, white, and silver.
Did it say, are you scared?
So y'all should be worried if you don't join or obey.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't even think that's to us.
I'm
That's
not going
to-
to say who it is, but I know who it is.
That sounds
I
like that's
think
to
I know
everyone
That's
else.
not me.
I know. I think I have an idea who it
Yeah.
is.
Whoever might wear yellow, white, and silver, if you don't join or obey them.
I only
you should
saw
be
one
worried.
person with yellow on today.
Well,
Maybe
them.
that was them.
And they had yellow shorts on, I think.
Oh, I know who we're talking about now.
Oh my goodness. So
Did you
look
have
out.
one?
I do. It says Assassin's Creed was really fun. Please play more often.
Noted.
Okay.
Cool.
Outstanding.
Total positive one. Cool.
I have one that everything was great.
Wow.
Great.
It's
So
very
awesome.
enthusiastic writing on that.
And it was like
They
Lot
took
of
out the whole
exclamation
card,
points.
too.
his card.
The whole back of the card. I love that.
They spared no style for size there. Like it's written all crazy, but it's huge. Okay, I got one that says more Juggernaut content where the camera switches people. If I thought about it, I would have put the camera and the Juggernaut like ability in to scramble. So it says keeps things interesting. It's a good way to see people's fighting styles firsthand. So maybe that's just somebody
That's a good
kind of
point.
saying more like this might be more for the editor plus us to get the footage on people, but maybe we need to play Juggernaut more too.
I think
That could be a
what
thing.
that is so that they can, use the YouTube video so they can adjust their fighting style to that particular person. So I think that may be what it is.
I really wish we could get the Juggernaut like camera. It used to take like really good footage, but it was because it was mounted like right over the mouth area. Like if you can mount the camera instead of on the top part at their mouth, it shows the weapons and hands and arms more. Although I was kind of like anyway, we might get some kind of like half mask or like an Oni mask or whatever it's called to put like as a half mask to try to get that camera where it actually picks up more of the actual fighting instead of being like up over their head where you can't really see what's going on.
Right.
Because sometimes it's angled a little up.
What if, like, for the people who wear, like, the camera and whatnot, what if they have their name on who's recording it?
Somebody else actually suggested that. This is what our editor said. He said it would be difficult to keep track, I think, of who all has it all the time.
Like, you could write down their names, like, who has it, when.
Mm-hmm. If it was something that was a little bit more in demand, like if people did keep pushing for it, I'm sure he would probably eventually do it. But
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for him, so maybe not.
Yeah.
So
I think with that, it's because I do sit and hang out with our video editor, and we kind of bounce ideas off each other, and it is hard to figure out when the juggernaut, when they have when
exactly
they have it on, who it is.
If you don't see them pick it up, like if you don't see
Right.
that footage, yeah.
But like if it's one person where like Trinity has his GoPro, so he knows exactly what footage he has, and then like whenever I send my footage in, like I just airdropped it to him, he can send it in and be like, okay, we know this is Erik's footage. But with the Juggernaut, it's hard to actually know who has it on, so it would be harder on him to say, okay, this is this person's view. So it's really hard,
but not impossible.
Yeah,
so
it's not impossible.
If it was a huge demand, I think.
But trying to blend those together, it's a little difficult. But again, it's not impossible. We can try and get it in there.
Or if we were at a point where that's kind of all he was doing, where he wasn't having to like fight and do other stuff too and whatever, or somebody else was just doing it. It would be cool to have a thing where it says like POV Trinity, or whoever has it, like on the bottom center of the screen or something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Just to know who you're watching, so you can tell, so you can examine the way they fight and beat them. Yep. Yeah.
I got a suggestion for a game type.
So we're not totally closed off to that idea, but I do know that right now he had said that he didn't really want to do that, but we'll see how it goes.
Maybe in the future.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's just somebody said that we should play VIP.
Game type, cool. Does that say cool? Oh,
no, it says this is somebody's name.
It
just says game type VIP.
I wonder if that person knows that we
have that game already.
Yeah, sort of have a game called Bannerman.
Yeah.
Whoever that is, if you're listening, look in our book of events and look at the game Bannerman and tell me if it's different than that. And if it's different than that, then we'll definitely consider it.
All right.
I'm open to game types.
Okay, it says great day. Games were great. Had fun.
Good. Cool. That's the best ones.
I have one that says ready for warmer days. Love, Phlarp. And I think I know who did that.
I'd me. That was mine.
Okay, maybe I don't know who it is. All right.
That is not mine either.
You got any more in there?
Yes, I have one more. It says, maybe update the wording on restore limb. Wording is not clear on if one can heal themselves. So that's the thing I already did. It's just a different one that somebody put in there.
Okay.
Well, I definitely know who wrote this, but it says great day. Would anybody notice if I take some feathers from the pens? I love the game today. Hopefully I am better next week.
Wow. Do you know who that is?
Thanks. Feather?
I think we just figured it out.
Yeah.
All right.
I swear you know my handwriting like so well.
Yeah, I noticed it the first time. It's pretty good handwriting.
Thanks.
Do you have any other ones? Okay. I have one that says, had a blast. Can't wait to go out again. The costumes are looking amazing. Keep it up, everyone. And then a kill count would be a cool feature. Who got the most kills, the best kills, etc.
Does that mean I have the last one?
I believe it does, sir.
I like this one. It says, appreciate all the hard work the team is doing. It is noticed and is all capitalized.
Oh, cool. Cool. Nice.
So,
outstanding. We appreciate you guys.
I wish I'd have wrote that one, because I agree.
I appreciate everybody that comes out every week. You can tell that everybody that does come out puts 100% into what they want and what they expect, and we see it, and we try our best to implement that. So,
I would be cool with handing out some kind of like play of the day or something, where if we notice a really cool thing happen, be like, we're nominating you for play of the day. That was awesome. Something that we can explain even if we didn't get a recording of it.
Yeah.
And then if somebody else does something better, then they get
I've got one that sticks out in my mind from today.
Okay.
It sort of involved me, but it wasn't me that did it. So I was running around or whatever, and I didn't have any arms at all. This was during Scramble. And you actually were coming for me.
Yeah.
And Sir Ednick was on my team. And he
Oh.
threw a throwy at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really nice throw.
Yeah.
And like it caught you and
Hit
it
me right in
saved
the
my
chest.
life.
Yeah.
Like
I looked at you.
I
like we
was done
caught
for
eyes.
because I didn't have any arms. I couldn't fight you back. I was just running around. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
It was a
that
really
was a cool kill. I
Yeah.
told him that afterward. I said, "Man, that was a really good throw." I didn't even see it happening. Couldn't even dodge it. Hit me right in the chest. And then we looked at each other
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
I was like, "Oh, dude, he just saved me, bro."
Awesome.
Why, you didn't want to die right then?
No, I just didn't want to die to North.
You didn't want to die to North? But it can't be that bad.
It's like my rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like this unwritten thing we have. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's like you and Rand.
It is like me and Rand. No
Yeah.
hard feelings to Rand, but one day, and I'm putting my foot down, and I'm gonna say this, I'm going to kill him.
Oh, wow.
Not with
That
the
is my-
with the backstab either.
No,
Outright.
it's gonna be full on.
Okay, so I will admit, last night, Rand and I were talking as I was constructing my desk.
Of course.
the
And
one with 7 extra screws.
Hey,
that's-
hey, you better get that right, okay? Because if I lose one, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
You don't know, maybe somebody might eat one.
Probably.
Probably.
Okay, so Rand did say that there are a few different type of people when it comes to him. There's the people that ignore him. There are the people that, just want to stab him in the back.
Right.
And then there are the people who will purposefully go after him because they say that if they constantly go after him and constantly battle him, then they themselves will get better.
That's true.
Yeah, he's one of the most offensive.
And we were
Fighters.
talking about it, and like I said, my first day of LARP, this was back in Oldshire. I had said, "Who's the biggest, baddest here?" And I was like, "What is it? You?" And I was talking to my former stepdaughter ish, and they were like, "Nope, it's Rand." And I was like, "Who's Rand?" He just stands there. He's like waving at me. I was like, "All right, we're gonna do this." And I would constantly go after him, and I started getting better. And that's when he was pretty much like, "Yo, you're coming to my clan." I'm like, "Okay."
Do you guys remember the guy named? Well, I guess you weren't there, but do you remember the guy named Little John? And he was like 8 feet tall.
Oh, I do remember. We were just talking about this recently
had a
because
big-
he made that whole YouTube video about the Knights of Oblivion.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did do that, didn't
Yeah.
he? But there was this great big tall guy one time I went out, and there was this huge guy there, and it was when I used to play, so. And he had a Galactus helmet on. He had a helmet that made him look like Galactus, like it was a Galactus helmet. And he had a huge shield, like gigantic, and it was like, and he was playing music in it and stuff. And I was like, dude, I am fighting that guy. Because if I can kill that guy, I can kill everybody else here. Like, that's the one I'm going to learn something from more than anyone else. And I was like trying crazy stuff, like trying to jump off the pavilion wall to kill him and stuff. I think eventually I killed him like once, but really I didn't kill him a whole lot. But I tried, That's what matters, I guess.
Fair enough.
I like going for people like that, though, that seem more
Yeah,
formidable.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you have to fight the best.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
just how it is.
You're going to learn
If
the
you're
most.
going after all the weak links, you're not going to get better.
Yeah. Like, that's what I think I started out with. And then I started looking up to the people that, would usually kill me. And then, well, because of how Rand is, I was like, the first few times I was like, I don't want to try and kill him. Then I tried backstabbing him. And now I am dead set to just kill Rand.
Beat him on a face-to-face duel.
That is literally my goal.
You should sign up on the duels and duel him.
Oh, dude, he would probably kill me.
Slaughter
It's
you.
a-
You
it's a
would-
perfect
He would
chance.
smash me
It's a perfect chance.
completely.
You know
I
what?
get best
Love.
3 out of 5.
I
You
mean,
know what?
with that mentality, he will smash you. But
Yes.
if you go in with the whole, no, I'm going to beat him this time.
Or at
eventually
least
it's gonna
once.
happen.
Even if you're like, I'm going to beat him once out of these 3. Because
Yeah.
it might be like, it'd be 4 matches if you.
I know when we
Beat
did the
him once.
patrol, and he was like, not tall enough. Like, literally that
And you're like,
day.
no way, I'm getting him.
And then when I got his legs out from underneath him, I was, like, in my head, I was saying, am I tall enough now? And I was so close to saying it. Like, I literally looked at the non-living entity and I was like, I wanted to say this so bad.
You should have.
I should have. And now that I look back on it, I didn't. And I should have.
She inevitably told him, and he was like, no, you're still not tall enough.
Yeah.
Lord Rand, you're being called out, brother.
You are being called out. No hard feelings.
You know what?
I know where you were. Just an FYI. I'm just saying. I'm pretty good friends with all your
You also know where he lives, too.
I know where he lives, too.
So I think next week it's an automatic sign up for
wake
these
up with
two.
a LARP sword for throat.
I am signing
what
up
you did.
just to get ran.
Oh,
Fantastic.
that's what I'm talking about.
Like, I didn't want to do, like, the one-on-ones, but now I am, like, all for it. Like, I'm going after
It'd
Rand.
be a good opportunity to do it and not worry about somebody else coming around stabbing him in the back. Or you in the
Exactly.
back
Yep,
and messing up the fight. You know?
Yes.
yep. And even the god can't intervene, so
Uh-huh.
I can't intervene on your behalf. And
You could. You
And
just
you can't
you
spoon
just
people.
choose not to, right?
I
You
choose
could.
not to
Leave your
because
spoon out of it.
I am an honorable person. Speaking of honorable, can I read my backstory to everybody?
Oh yeah, let's get that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So this is my backstory so that I can officially be a gold member on the Phlarp website.
Right.
Because
I'll
somebody,
get you up on there.
kept making excuses why I couldn't read it to
Mhm.
them. So I'm doing it now.
Well, why don't you read it?
Okay, my name is Eric the Red Bloodzerker. I am a Norse god. I am brother to Thor and Loki. I am over 4,444 years old. I was entrusted to protect the lands of Daft Punkflamor. My father Odin entrusted me to carry the knowledge and wisdom of militia and strategies with me onto the lands to help train those that are in need of help in battle. I have many battles upon which I have helped overcome and defeat enemies in which tried to invade my lands. I have called upon the Valkyrie to take those men who have fallen to the halls of Valhalla.
She ain't gonna do that for you. Just an FYI. She's a non-living entity. She's not gonna do that
It was
for you.
upon the eve of the Battle of Cork in which the winds blew hard enough that my mohawk was matted to my head and my eyes would have to squint just to see. The sky was the color of pink and violet. The sun was fading behind the rolling hills. A few wispy clouds could be seen nestled among the lovely colors. The smell of cinnamon, apples, and woods could be smelt above all the ripeness of the assembled masses. Sorry, I'm trying to read down. Kind of messes me up. I adorned with tabard, armor, and sword in my sheath. Upon my belt were a few pouches to hold treasures and loot. I felt a strange feeling overwhelm me. A feeling of uneasiness as if something was not right. Looking over the tents and the masses, I could smell a quite different but particular smell. This was a smell of something that I knew had the powers of devastation against me. I had to run, and run fast. The boats to the farther shores would assist me in getting into an area of protection, or so I thought. I reached the boats and demanded the captain sail immediately. I knew my enemies that were at Cork I knew my armies that were at Cork would win the battle, so my mind could be at ease. My best men were there in my stead. Sailing upon this vessel, I grew weary and tired. The sheer exhaustion of sleep deprivation, hunger, and battle-hardened stress, and a concussion from the full day prior, led me to lay upon the captain's bed for rest. And
Nice.
thus,
Hey, how's your concussion doing, by the way?
I'm doing well. I had a CAT scan, and they did prove that I have a brain. They're waiting on the EEG to find out if it is a functional brain, but there is a brain in there. So,
Is it human?
Is it human?
yes, it is a human
it
brain.
Are you
cat's
positive?
brain?
I tested negative for all other things.
Okay, so we're close on the
I'm
hour,
gonna
but
fight you.
We did. We
Didn't-
watch a movie.
Yeah, we did
Is that
not
where
do
we're
the.
going with
No,
this?
well, some of us watched the movie.
I watched the movie. You talking
I
about?
watched it.
I watched it.
I watched it.
I know that. I know I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else didn't watch it, but I watched it.
Maybe is there
Is there anybody else here that didn't watch
any
it?
gods?
Have you ever seen it, Rose?
What movie?
Role models?
Role models.
No.
That's disappointing.
That is disappointing. I have not watched it recently, but I have watched it.
There's a part in there that we could literally use sort of for our game where they explain the rules of their game, and it's basically the same exact as our game.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
When he's
really
like
cool.
the kid's literally showing him how to
Mhm.
fight. Yeah,
they
that's
do
pretty
like
cool.
a montage where he's like learning or whatever, like bonding with him. And at one part they're telling him how to play, and it's basically the same as ours. Like
Let me just say this though, because I feel like I need to say this.
Okay.
To me, I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies, especially LARP movies. It's fantastic. One of the most infuriating parts of that whole movie is Augie wins. Like it's over. He wins. And here comes that little jerk coming up behind him. I stabbed you. I hid in the bushes the whole time. Bro, I would have smacked that girl right upside the head. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and
It was over. Like they announced him as king.
It's always a chick that's stabbing
Bro,
somebody
if
in the
it wouldn't
back.
have been that chick, he would have been pissed. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, if it
It's
had been
just
anybody
easier
else.
when they have their back turns. Because you don't have to worry about them coming at you.
Spoken like a true rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at me like that. I'm stating from a point of
And
view.
if Augie knew what he was doing though, he would have known that the game wasn't over because there's a person there that literally says the game is like called or whatever.
Oh, the crier.
Yeah, he gets up in the castle and he says the game is over or whatever,
that's
something
true.
like that.
So
He
really,
says something.
he let his guard down.
Yeah, if he'd have like thought about it, he
You
should
know
have
what
known.
he is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the wrong button. But it doesn't matter. Anyway,
He knows. He knows.
I think he's just
Oh.
whipped, man. I think that's what
Yes.
that was.
Yes, I think it was too.
And I'll say like the pros or the cons to this movie. The only things I don't like about the movie is some of the raunchy humor is just
Yeah.
not funny to
That's
me, really.
fair.
But
I mean,
some
I
of it
enjoy
is.
I enjoy it though. I think that's a.
Rate it.
there are
What
parts
would you
about
rate
it
it though?
that
As
are
a
funny,
movie or
though,
as
the
a LARP
raunchy
movie?
humor, like the little kid. What's his name?
Dude, that dude's so funny.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Yeah, that's it.
Dude, he's
when he's
funny.
like, pick us up in an hour, and he's like, "F you, Miss Daisy." That part's funny.
I
Dude.
love that.
And then, dude, like the part where he's like I mentioned this earlier, but he's talking to Paul Rudd's character,
Mhm.
and he's like, "All right, Ben Affleck," and he's like, "Why Ben Affleck?" He's like, "You white? You Ben Affleck."
And he goes, "That's true. I am white."
No, was it him or was it Sean William Scott's
Oh, he
character?
goes,
that
"You
was
are
like,
white."
You are white.
And he goes, "That's true.
Yeah.
I am white."
Yeah, it's pretty
Is
funny
he
stuff.
positive that he's white though?
I mean, I don't think anyone's positive about anything.
No.
I'm 99% sure about a lot of things, but not 100% sure about
I don't
anything.
think 100% positivity can be ascertained.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's too definitive.
Mhm.
I'm not a god.
Ever. Only I.
What would you
But
rate it though?
But the third,
As a
Okay,
regular
okay.
movie or as a LARP movie?
As a LARP movie.
Oh, it's a LARP movie. How about this? I'm wearisome to give it a 10 because that means there could never be a movie that's better than that movie.
There's probably a movie better than
Well, as a LARP movie,
As a LARP movie.
I don't know if there is one right now, but I will say it's like a 9.6
and mine's
as a LARP movie.
I could see that.
I'd say like a 9, and it's because what I was saying is, I think you could almost watch just the third act if you kind of understood what the hell the characters were even doing there, and still get as much as watching all of it. Although,
That's fair.
like I said, there are some things in
You
there
missed
that are
some funny
but,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree.
But the LARP portion of it, my favorite part is the third act when they go to fight. There's so many interactions that redeem characters because there are characters that I felt like were buttholes, even the king.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he still kind of is.
yeah, he kind of is, but he still took the death. I mean, he punched a kid. So.
Yeah, he literally
I mean,
punched that kid in the
yeah.
mouth.
That's not cool. But he does afterward when he realizes I'm totally dead. I can't beat this. And then he's like, and he like does a whole roleplay death.
Yeah.
I have to admit that.
I wish people would treat our king like that king. I wish
I agree.
everybody would be like, oh my gosh, that's the king. We gotta kneel, and everybody would just kneel down. It'd be awesome. I
But
wish
we
people-
don't have a
We
king.
tried to get people to do that.
We have a
Yeah.
self-proclaimed king.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, and
that's
we will
just
have
why
a
we
king.
don't kneel for him.
We will have a king.
Eventually.
I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for everybody to kneel for the god, but you know.
Nobody's
I may-
gonna kneel for you.
Actually, we did have somebody kneel for me.
Of course.
What? What the?
During the one-on-ones, the self-proclaimed king said he would never kneel.
Oh yeah.
His legs got cut off.
Yeah,
He was
I
still
hamstringed
kneeled,
him.
bro.
Yeah.
That doesn't count though.
I will
Was
say
he on
this.
his knees? He was kneeling. That's it.
He had no legs.
Story.
He's not kneeling if he has no legs.
Story.
I will say this about this movie though, because one of the things I like to do, especially with the LARP movies, is I try to take something or extract something out of the movie that we can use in our LARP. And though there are a lot of things, including what you just mentioned about how they treat the king, one of my favorite things is it Castledonia? Is that the name of their? It doesn't matter. The name of their guild, the guy who kind of
Augie's Guild.
yes, the guy who's kind of in charge of that guild. He ends up being the betrayer or whatever. But
The
when he's
rub-a-dub-dub
introducing himself, yes, the rub-a-dub guy. And he's introducing himself. He's like, "Oh, I am the son of blah blah blah, who is the father of blah blah blah." Like it's like he's introducing like more characters in order to like make his title more important. And I actually really enjoy that. So like at some point, I might end up doing that with my character if I have like a father that I respect or whatever. I'll be like, "Oh, the son of such and such," to like give myself more respect. I enjoyed that part of the movie.
Even just his regular comments too, where he's commenting on the sun. He's Apollo. He's like, Apollo has pulled his chariot across the sky, and Athena or something. He's talked about somebody going to sleep, the moon, I assume.
Right.
And then he's like, Apollo has gotten his chariot
And lifted its skirt or whatever he says.
Yeah. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I watched some outtakes with that guy, and Paul Rudd tries really hard not to laugh at that guy. Like it's
He's
really
funny.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
His
What about you, by the way?
role playing. What?
As far as like a LARP movie and then a regular movie, how would you rate it? You said
Oh.
a 9 for a LARP movie.
Yeah, and
Like-
as a regular movie, like a 7. It's just a normal movie.
You think
really.
so?
Yeah.
I
7,
really
8.
enjoy it. I think it's a lot higher than that for
It's
me. But
it's
What do you
really
think?
it's the stuff that
as a regular movie,
Yes.
Here's
probably
my
like
problem.
an 8-7 or something.
that I have with this movie and sometimes other movies that brings it down for me is sometimes they'll put the cameras on people they think are funny and they'll just riff, and then they put the best funny stuff in afterward. It's not a scripted thing. It's like, oh, that joke was pretty funny, like the girl with the hot dog,
Yeah,
and
that
she's
was
like,
funny.
what's that look like? Ooh, or whatever.
That
I'm like,
chick is funny, but
but she's pretty funny. She's like one of the people that it seemed like they just put the camera on her and said, do some funny stuff, and then she just like, said some funny stuff, but sometimes the jokes weren't all great, but they left them anyway because it was like the greatest of the set of jokes that she did.
Do you
Right.
think that's the
And
reason
sometimes
they
that
did
bothers
though?
me about movies. I don't like when they are like just like riffing.
Do you feel like that's the reason they did that though, or were
I
they
don't know.
trying to explain to us as an audience how cringy of a character she was?
No, maybe.
'Cause that's the
She's
vibe
kind of
I got from it. I'm like, dude, this chick is wacko. Like,
she's like out there. I don't know. Maybe it's just that humor just hits differently for me. Like,
that's fair.
because when I was watching the outtakes thing, I also watched a thing that said the funniest jokes in the movie, and one of them was on there when she's like, "What do I have for breakfast? Cocaine. What I got?"
Oh yeah, that wasn't that funny.
And I didn't think that part was that funny. I
Yeah, it
don't
was
know.
alright.
Maybe it's just a sense of humor thing. Like my sense of humor is a little different or
You
whatever.
didn't even think it was funny at the end though, whenever
Like,
Paul
I think
Rudd answers her for, he's like, let me guess, cocaine.
Yeah, his line reading there is good. It redeems it a little bit. And then even the hot dog thing, if you watched all the way to the very end,
Dude, that's funny. Dude.
that looked like an outtake too, but it was just something they were just doing or whatever. Because the other guy was like kind of doing the hot dog thing or whatever. I don't know. Of course, funny. So some of it is funny, but some of it for me is like
It's only a 7. What about you, Chris?
As far as the LARP movie, definite 9. Overall, I would have to give it at least an 8-7. The
Where
reason
was
being is because I like Paul Rudd. He's funny.
Yeah,
Sean William Scott, funny.
hilarious.
Ken Jeong,
Yeah, he's funny too.
dude.
Oh yeah.
The king.
Is that even a name though?
That's his name, Ken Jeong. Ken, Ken, Jeong, Jeong.
Okay, that's spelled good.
What's the name of the guy? The dictator? Isn't it really close to that?
That's
Kim
Jong-un.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I watch him on The Masked Singer all the time. I mean,
Kim Jong Un.
yeah, that guy. We all boo him.
Okay.
We boo him. We throw tomatoes at him.
I see. Is he on The Masked Singer? As the
Ken Jeong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know
He's
that.
he's like one of the people that like try to guess who the people are
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
The other guy's actually a doctor, or so I heard.
He's a lot of things.
He's
He's
like
like a
literally a real
doctor
doctor.
and a lawyer and something else. Like it's kind of crazy.
He really
is
is
he a good
gruff.
lawyer though?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Mhm.
But I mean,
I mean, maybe. Who knows? But at the end of the day, he's a professional actor, and so he makes a lot more money doing that than being a doctor or a lawyer. So
Or even a teacher.
he probably did that too.
Probably.
And I mean, he makes a lot more money than me, so. And I'm pretty funny.
Are you though?
Looking.
I am.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you sure though?
Okay, we're done with this because I'm right, you're wrong. Have a good night.
Okay.
All right. So
Do we have a code word for this week?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
you want to come up with it? You got one?
Eat dirt.
Oh.
That's just not very nice, and I don't want people coming up and saying that to me.
That is literally one
Dirt.
of my code phrases all the time. It's literally eat dirt. When I get mad, I don't tell anybody. Like,
Can we
something
make
bad.
it not so spicy? How about some kick rocks?
Oh, we could say kick rocks.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, kick rocks is okay, but eat dirt isn't.
Yeah.
Seems eat dirt's
Doesn't rocks
really
your pet?
offensive.
You don't.
I
I'm
agree.
pretty sure all of us have eaten dirt as a child. Like,
Yeah, but
You
eat
didn't get
dirt is
pushed?
also an expression for like kicking the bucket. It's like it's like wishing somebody dead. It's a lot.
Dude, I think I ate
Eat
dirt
dirt.
last week.
I always eat dirt.
Isn't rocks your pet?
Yeah, rocks is my pet. That's
Yeah,
offensive.
Let's kick rocks.
Let's
Kick
not kick
rocks.
rocks.
That's it.
That's the code word.
That's the
Kick
code word.
rocks.
All right.
Do we have another movie we want to watch for next week? Or?
I don't know. Are we all gonna watch it? Because I'm sick of watching
I'll
movies
watch
no one
it.
else watches.
Probably not.
I'll watch it. Yeah.
You
It's-
guys,
he
you
said
guys
probably-
should
at least
watch-
he's honest.
Listen, you guys should watch that Zero Charisma movie I watched. That was a bonus movie I watched that Mercer Stitch recommended. You should watch it.
All right. Is that what you're recommending?
I mean, I recommended Role Models last week, but
Yeah, so he can't.
yeah, somebody else can do it. I will say it has zero to do with LARP. It's a D&D movie also.
Oh, okay.
Then no.
I'm just telling you what was recommended.
Okay, well, that's
What
a
if-
recommendation, but we don't have to follow
There's
it.
What if
also
there's a-
so many LARP movies. Okay.
What about abilities that are in our game that are based on an ability or a movie? There are abilities in our game.
All right, then let's
that
watch
come
Monty
from
Python
movies.
and the Holy Grail, because that's where you're going with this.
Well,
Let's
there's
go.
that one, but there's other ones too.
Like what?
Lion's Roar is from a movie called Kung Fu Hustle. You ever seen that?
No, I don't think so.
It's good.
Is it cringy? Is it really good, or is this like I'm gonna be?
You'll know.
Or
You'll
it's
know
like
when Lion's
Monsters
Roar
and
happens.
Mazes.
No, it's not. It's good. It's actually one of my favorite movies. Kung Fu Hustle is.
Literally, the first thing that came to my mind was the Minion movie.
You'll know whenever the Lion's Roar thing happens. too.
Because we
It's
do
an
play
epic
Minion.
part. It's epic.
All right. How about? All right. Sounds good.
But we don't have to watch that.
No, we can watch that one.
All right.
That's fine.
That's cool. If anybody struggles for a copy of it, can make it back up here before next week. I have an actual DVD of it.
I'm sure I can.
Do we have DVD players anymore?
I was gonna say we don't have anything.
We
with
don't
days
have
DVDs.
anything. Like, literally, we got movies and we can't even use them on
I'll
our
find a
Xbox.
digital copy.
We are
Okay.
in the digital age.
This
It
is
seems like there was
stupid.
another
That's what I
ability
would
too,
say.
but I can't remember what it
It's
was.
stupid.
Was there an ability called the
I
Axe
miss having
Gang?
a Blu-ray
The
player.
Axe Gang?
Doesn't sound familiar.
It seems like there was one that I don't know. Anyway. Alright, so that's the movie. We got the code word and the question.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Yep, Kung Fu Hustle.
Kick rocks.
And kick
Everybody
rocks.
was kung fu fighting.
I swear,
Like-
if somebody next week actually comes up and kicks rocks, I'm literally gonna cry.
Well, maybe you should keep him protected.
He went with us today, and he is currently eating nuts at home.
Okay.
Well, on that note, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you keep battling in the name of our capital, Darvishan.
And we hope to see you soon.
Bye.